The only time I've done a 3D pop-up card before, I had the help of a laser cutter. For today's tutorial, I'm going to try to make one by hand. And as you can see from our completed result, this is going to be more of a learn along. So I'm starting with trying to use as few tools as possible. Ideally, these are tools that are very easy to get or you might already have. Now for the paper, I did make sure to get heavy duty construction paper, scissors, pencil. Probably going to need multiple glue sticks, a ruler that's way too long, and tons of paper to make good mistakes on. Just put this over there. Now we're going to start breaking down the cardboard, which is going to serve as a cutting mat. And as we build upon this project, hopefully we'll be able to turn it into a proper DIY scoring board. And we'll use those two pieces to form a 90-degree angle. I want to utilize the machined edge that's left from the cardboard. I'll add some quick measurements. It took me a couple times, but I got pretty quick at folding using our cutting mat jig. Starting to get the hang of it now. I finally just started cutting on the cardboard. I figure if that's going to be our cutting mat, we might as well use it. I found that cutting from side to side instead of up to down, probably obvious, worked a lot better. Now I'm using those markers on the cardboard to leave just a ½ inch. And then we fold it up using the ruler to score or crease the paper. For my second one, after the first score and fold, I did the rest by hand. And when I compare the two of them, the one that I took time to measure out each fold ended up producing a much better spring effect for the accordion. Now we're starting on the side folds for the shadow box. And this gives us a nice little chomp effect. So here's where I started getting too fancy. I want to cut a window in the shadow box. Can I cut a perfect circle? The short answer was no. The long answer was also no. It's kind of like a really bright moon coming through the scene. Shouldn't be too hard to freehand the edges of this into a perfect circle. Yeah, it was much harder than, of course it was hard. Yeah, that doesn't look that good. But our spring accordion. Another use for the accordion fold is to help things pop out from the background. So that's what we're going to do with our little moon. With this accordion spring, there's probably going to be one specific way that it wants to flop over. Just got to remember which way. And we'll test it again. Underwhelming. Rotate it. Alright. That just might work. Get that set. Really set. Okay, it didn't work as well. So we're going to cut another little spring, reinforce this. Mm, Get glue everywhere. Ta-da! Get that smudge out. And it's a pop-up card. Technically. The things we want to work on for next time are getting more consistent with our cuts. Whether that means abandoning scissors for something like a utility knife, which is somewhat still a common item. And if I choose to keep the scissors, then I'm going to have to figure out how to do curves a lot better. Our accordion spring mechanism is working well. If we cut some shorter and some longer, we could use that to simulate different depth in the shadow box. I feel like we have to get our straight lines and our curves down a little bit better before we move on to tackling things like pop-up letters and more complicated shapes. In the next tutorial, we'll build off of the few papercraft skills that we've picked up so far, try to refine those, and then set more elaborate goals. See you in the next one.